I think we're pretty much ready to go today. This is going to be the reveal of the, over the last year, or actually 2 years, I've been doing, no, actually just 1 year. This will be year number 2. I've been doing a top 10 wave race players list. And in the end, it's coming down to my call. It's coming down to like opinion or whatnot. But let me just say, I spent a lot of time doing side-by-side player comparisons, like adding up times, just to kind of see what the difference is. Like watching videos just to look at form. So I'm like judging you guys, okay? I'm like comparing everyone, seeing who I think the strong players are, and then some players who don't really play anymore still have really solid times, so you know how good they really are. And if they were to keep playing and join us again, we'd see them towards the top, I think. So, pretty much, I'm just going to play some chill wave race music in the background. If it's too loud, let me know. I'll try to fix it. And we're going to start. I'll just describe the player, announce them by their gamer tag name. Like, my name is Shibbypod. I'm the creator of the list. It's mostly statistical objectiveness, I'll say it that way. So, I don't play favorites or anything like that. I try to take everything into consideration when I put this list together. And I'm going to dive right into it here. Yeah, if you have more times that you haven't submitted, I put the link up at the top here on the top of the stream. You can see it, www.speedrun.com/WR64. If you don't submit your times, I'm not going to know about them, and I'm not going to count them for this. And it's too late now to tell me that you got a world record. So, let's get right to this list. Oh, and our new friend Grimia joining in with us. Hello. So I'll wait for another 2 minutes. We'll start at 3:40. Kind of let someone else filter in. But basically, thanks for joining in, Grimia. Ghillie Guide, Andy Panthers here. I believe we have, just to call out a few other people, Beef Wellington. I know you've played a little bit. Not quite a bit, but a little bit. We've got some more of my frequent viewers here in the chat. I'm just drinking this San Pellegrino soda. I recommend it highly if you like pop or soda, whatever you want to call it, but you don't like a lot of sugar. Not too bad. But anyway, the list, I took everything into effect from RTA times, so your championship times count, your time trial times count, and I don't know, more entries is going to get you more points. I did consider reverse times and single lap times as well. World record times weigh heavily. Activity gives you a boost, but if you haven't played in a long time and you have solid time still, it's going to be helpful to you. So, let's get to it. I think we've got enough of us here at this point. So, in 10th place, let me check my list to make sure I got it right. 10th place, you probably wouldn't be too happy about it because he did go down. And I'm talking about Game. So, Game coming in at 10th this time. And I'll put a -2 there because he did come down from 8th last period, which was updated on May 31st, so I'm just going to say June, because I don't think even anybody saw it until June anyway. So, Game's good. He's actually the only one of you guys on this list that I've ever met in person. I'll say that. And I've kind of showed him the ropes, but he's got a benchmark time and a couple of times that are very close to benchmark. I'm talking about, here I'll bring up the timesheet because it's right in front of me. Sunny Beach, he has achieved 103. He's got 103.955. And anyone else who has a 103, and there's quite a few of you guys who do, who are in here right now. Actually, I don't know if if Analog or Hayate or Quick are even in here, but 103 is a pretty challenging time to get for your first time. It can take a lot of trial and error, but Game's gotten it, along with quite a few of us. There's 8 people currently with that, and he's also got a low 112 on Drake Lake, so think about Drake Lake. Getting a 111 is very difficult. Getting a really low 112 is still quite difficult. So congratulations to Game making the list again. This is the 3rd term in a row that he's been on the top 10. Number 9, moving up a spot from number 10, we've got Andy Panther coming in at number 9. And I gotta give some credit to Andy Panther because he put in a lot of work on the reverse courses in the last term, and he kind of passed a lot of the guys who, like the old school guys who played reverse times, and we ported their times over from the other websites. But he beat most of those. He's gotten a bunch of top 3 times on reverse. So congrats to Andy Panther, really putting in some work there. Making it up to number 9. His highest rank yet, by the way. So congrats on that, and I think he's in the chat here as well. I know you haven't been super active, Andy, but what really counts is like your best times. Your best times. And you have RTA records on the board as well. I wanted to bring up one of these that I thought was really cool that I saw the other day. I couldn't remember which level it was. Yeah. So, 3rd place on Glacier Coast Reverse with a 124.1. And 4th place is Ghillie with a 127. So you smoked him on that level. And there are some other examples too, but for the sake of time, we'll keep it at that for now. But nice job going into 2017 ranked number 9. This next one might be kind of a little bit of a surprise, so I'll take a second. So, basically, in case you forgot, you might want to be referencing the old rankings, which are still up on the other one. Number 7 last year was a player who is actually the oldest player with the best times that has never made contact in any way with myself or anyone actively playing Wave Race. His name's Jason Walls, and he's pretty much a Wave Race legend because his times are older than, like, back when Ilu was new. He was trying to beat those times. So it goes way back. I'm pretty sure when I was seeing records posted from him on other websites, they were predating 2004. And his times are great. He's definitely a milestone player, so when you pass Jason Wall's times, I think that's really a huge accomplishment. And I hope that this player reaches out to us one day. But coming in number 8 this term is Walls. his times from years ago are holding up inside of our top 10 today. That's pretty impressive. He does lose a spot, though. And probably not a big surprise here to who he lost it to, which is probably our most active player. Our most active player pretty much over the last, well, I would say maybe in our top 3, definitely. Most active players over the last term, I would say. And this calls for a change of music. Ghillie Guide. So, Ghillie Guide coming in at 7th this time. If you don't know much about Ghillie Guide, he is a new player as of last year. He came over from like the Smash 64 speedrunning community and caught onto the game really fast. I thought he was a pretty natural talent, so pretty much try to teach him a few things about the game, and he ran with it. And not only is he playing at a pretty high level, he's also well, moving up 2 spots here, but he's also helping new players get good at the game by making a couple of tutorial videos. Or actually, there were like 4 or 5 really good tutorial videos that he made. So check those out. They're on his YouTube. Ghillie, I know you're in the chat. Feel free to post your link to your YouTube channel that has your stuff on it. He's also got a lot of good Smash content on there, so check that out. But Ghillie Guide's achievements this year were things like Marine Fortress Reverse 112. Like that's a 2nd place time. It's holding up right now. It's still 2nd place. Let me see exactly what the time was. 112.905. The current record right now is 110.692, but 2nd place was 115. So Ghillie got 2nd place, and he beat Hayate's time by 2.5 seconds, over 2.5 seconds. He did do the dive. He's the self-proclaimed dive king, but I tell him I'm the dive master. But definitely good stuff to Ghillie. If you're a new player, you should reach out to this guy. He is a pretty good resource. I know you're a busy guy, but thanks for giving some time to Wave Race. I know we appreciate it. So next on the list, we're at number 6 already. We're almost halfway there. This is a guy I think is in the chat. He was earlier. Let me look at my viewer list right now. I hope he's not in here, but that's okay. I'll spend a little bit of extra time talking about number 6 because some of you guys don't know him or have never talked to him, don't know who he is. So I'll tell you, and I'll write his name down here. Wait, I'm not looking at it. Okay, yeah. Admiral Smith. And who's Admiral Smith, you might ask? Well, Admiral Smith is a mutual friend of Illu Dude and myself, and he lives over in Sweden. And I was just getting into Wave Race. I'm talking like 2012, like at the end of 2012 probably. And I was just watching videos of Wave Race players, and some of the videos I was watching were Illu Dudes, and I actually found Admiral Smith because he was manning the time trial leaderboard at the time, which was vastly outdated. It was like an old spreadsheet, and he just sent me a copy of it so I could see it. It was on the internet. It was just like a spreadsheet, and it had all these times on it. And he's like telling me like how to do things, like how to arc the turns and simple stuff like that. Admiral Smith actually got me into this game. It's a true story because he was also the link to Illu. Like the first time I talked to Illu, it was through Smith. So kind of got hooked up with the big boss at the time through Smith, who was also a beast at Wave Race. He's got some really good times too, and he hasn't reported times in years. Just to whip up an example, he's got the lowest 112 on Drake Lake. He has a 112.033, which is 6th place. 6th place on Drake Lake in 2017. He is still 6th place on Drake Lake. That's ridiculous. Let me just say, I love you guys for playing Wave Race, but you need to get better at Drake Lake. That's such an important level. And getting a 111, man, when you get the 111 for the first time, and it's gonna take you hours. I'm talking about 50 hours maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Some of you maybe do it faster, some might take longer. But when you get it, it'll be worth it. It'll feel worth it, for sure. Alright. So, that was the bottom 5 of the top 10. So, pretty much from here on out, if you're familiar with the... Here, I'll change the song again. So, if you're familiar with the Wave Race community, you pretty much know who the top 5 players are. You might not know what order I'm going to put them in, but if you didn't make that bottom 5, I'm going to name out the honorable mentions now. And just some quick notes about them. These are just in alphabetical order. And there are 3 honorable mentions. And the first one, a player who hasn't played in a while, his name is Quick Persons, IND. I just call him Quick. And he's got a benchmark Sunny Beach time. He's got 103. He's also able to do the dive on... Oh, you have to leave now, Andy. That's okay. You can check out the rest of the stream later. Thanks for watching. Quick got the great 103 on Sunny Beach. So good job on that. And he's got a handful of other pretty good times as well in the top 10 area. So he's in there. We've got Stone Cold Hard 12. He's definitely put in a lot of work in the game as well and has RTA times on every difficulty. And he's also a big influence on the community. He has helped me build the leaderboards by importing times from other websites and like fact checking for me. And then the Androgyne, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's got top 10 times all over the board. I do believe he's probably our only Australian player as well, if I'm looking at the flag right there. Yeah, he's playing from Australia, and he's playing on NTSC, so pretty cool, right? So those are our 3 honorable mentions. Now, we're to the big guns. So we need a new song, that's what that is. Alright, top 5. So, the top 5 is reserved for players who have spent... I'm ballparking, like, we're talking 500 hours on the game. Now, think about playing a game all the way through. Like, you buy a new game, you go to Kmart and you buy the new game, and you go home and you unwrap it. You're probably going to be done, a blind playthrough, you're going to be probably done with this game in between, like, 20 and 60 hours. We'll make it a pretty big, ballpark amount of time there. So, if you're going to spend 500 hours on a game, you're going to be one of the top players. And this one, at the beginning of last year, this player was 4th place, and I'm talking about Ryan Lockwood. And he is the only player outside of the top 3 who have had a world record in this game in the modern era of the game. So, Lockwood coming in at 5th, he was already moved down to 5th in the second term of last year due to the efforts of the player who I'll name as number 4. But Lockwood's gotten... Lockwood has gotten about 4 benchmark times, including Sunny Beach 103, Sunset Bay 105, Drake Lake 111, and Southern Island 114. One of the reasons that he's moved down, however, is because he also doesn't have times reported on a majority of the stages or any RTA times. So, lacking stats to back up his skill, although when he does play, he shows a lot of skill. And he will grind out a level. He'll stream for 7 hours straight, Sunny Beach attempts, until he gets the world record. We're talking 7 hours straight, like 4 days in the week, 5 days sometimes, 6 days. And he got it. He did get the world record on Sunny Beach. He had it for about, I want to say about a month, maybe. And then I grounded out just a little bit faster, like 1 frame faster. And then I found out that hard mode was a little bit faster than normal mode, but that's another story. I'll talk about that later. But Lockwood, definitely one of the top players, and hopefully he sticks with the game and comes back and plays a little bit more. He said he was going to play hard mode, so we'll see. I hope that he does play hard mode. So number 4, the person who I often call the wave scientist, Analogism. Analogism is a top player because he understands the game better than anyone else. Better than me, better than Ghillie Guide, better than Ilu, better than Hayate, better than everyone. He's got a ton of benchmark times as well, like the standards like Sunny Beach 103, Sunset Bay 105. I think he's got a really nice Drake Lake time. He's got a top 4 Drake Lake time, 111.593. 111.5 probably took me like 100 hours to get to. So, no joke right there. So, nice job to Analogism. He's kind of figured out how the frame counter in the game works as well. It's disguised as the timer. While I don't know how he explained it, like the timer while you're like watching the game play and playing the game is actually different from the timer that determines what time you got at the end of the game. Like, he figured out that they were 2 separate entities, 2 separate clocks, and you can actually like tell with 100% accuracy what the timer is going to say down to 1,000th of a second when you pause. Like, you can, like, we figured out that you can just pause and you can tell what the next frame is going to pause on as far as what the timer says just by looking at the frame before it, and we've got it down 100%. It's always the same. So isn't that messed up? Like, it's so weird. And then the timer when you finish the course, he figured out too, the timer when you finish the course is totally different, and it's not going to match up with the rule that makes it so that we can always guess. Like, it's not going to be something that we can guess. So there's another factor somewhere in there. More to come on that. The Analogism, a bunch of benchmark times, including, and I have to mention this because I thought this was amazing, Glacier Coast 115. Of course, Glacier Coast 116 is the benchmark, and Analog got a 115, which I have a 115.5, and I think he got like a 115.7. Let me check that. I'll fact check myself right now. 115.745. Only 0.2 of a second behind me, and the second player ever to get a 115 on Glacier Coast. If you've played Glacier Coast, you know that's messed up. Number 3, the top three players basically are the champions of the game, the last 3 champs. And I mean, when you're the champion, basically you have to meet the qualifiers of having a majority of the records or having more records than any other one player. And it's kind of vague because we weigh different courses a little bit heavier than other courses sometimes. And I'm not really sure exactly how that's going to be determined in the future. But each one of these players has had an overwhelming majority of the records at one given time of their wave race career, or have had all of the records in their best in their wave race career. And of course, to make this list, those times still have to hold up against the other players, and they do. Coming in at number 3 this time is Dude. And I think, hold on, wait, where is it? Okay, no, it just, okay, there it is. I was looking for Drake Lake. So I'm giving Dude 3rd this time, and it's no fault of his other than that he hasn't played that much and somebody passed him. So Dude is a legend, mainly because when I started playing, he was the best player, and it wasn't until I had already started playing that Hayate kind of rose up at that time, before I was really any good even. And still clutches the world record on Drake Lake, and I've spent plenty of time trying to beat it. If you ask me why I'm not trying to beat it, it's because I've already exhausted myself trying to beat it. I can't beat it. We'll see, maybe one day I'll beat it, but for right now I can't beat it. So he's obviously awesome. He's got every benchmark on the forward courses. He doesn't really have a lot of reverse entries, but we're talking very top caliber player, and one of the best RTA players also. And he has times in some of the RTA times that were very difficult to beat and took so many hours. So just congrats to Ilu, still one of the top 3, although pretty much inactive. He did improve his Drake Lake time. I think I was making him a little bit nervous, but I couldn't come close enough to really keep going. I'm still about 3 or 4 frames behind him, even though I put a lot of effort into it. But Dude's standing against the test of time. He'll come back. He'll get some more records, I'm sure, as long as he just revisits the game for a couple of weeks. I'm sure he could pull something off. Number 2, then. Hayate. This is the biggest, probably, move in the game. Other than, I guess, Ghillie was big, obviously, moving up 2 spots. But I'm going to play Marine Fortress for Hayate because I think he's always been the best, one of the best, if not the best, M-Jetter player, Miles Jetter, which is obviously one of the characters in the game if you're not familiar. But he has plenty of hours in the game, some great records, including like a low 118 on Port Blue with Miles Jetter, a low 108 now that he got at the beginning of the year, this year on Marine Fortress, this level. And he also re-earned the world record single lap on Marine Fortress. Hence, the Marine Fortress song right now. Ghillie Guide says in the chat that Hayate is going to body my 107. I think that's his intent. I think he wants to beat my time on that level. So, Hayate moving up above Ilu this year. And it doesn't look like Hayate's quitting. I thought for a while that he wasn't going to revisit the game, and he's come back with some aggression here. He's really stepping up. So good to see that. When I first got my 108, it was a 2-second untied record. The second place was Hayate with a low 110. And I got down to a pretty low 108 before anything really happened. And then Ghillie Guide got his benchmark 110 on Marine Fortress. And then I decided that since Hayate got a 109 shortly after that, that I really needed to step it up and get the 107. So I got the 107, which leads me to, and I'm not trying to be smug or anything, the number one spot I will this year give to myself, as I have in the past. And the reason is because, just to name a few of these, we've got untied world records on Marine Fortress, on Port Blue, Twilight City, and Southern Island, and all 8 reverse courses. So those are just the untieds. And then I also have the current records on Sunny Beach, Sunset Bay, second place on Drake Lake, and then all of the laps except for Drake Lake and Marine Fortress, which I just lost to Hayate. Good stuff by Hayate. If you watch that lap, he has got the perfect touch, especially around the slight left turn buoy, which is before the sharp turn before the dive. Like, he does that part perfectly. And then, of course, his turns are, like, flawless. But I spent a lot of time on the game, definitely pushed it as far as I could. I'm very close to having an untied now on Sunset Bay. As soon as I can roll that timer down below 105 and get it to 104.9 something, that'll be a great feeling, won't it? Can't wait for that. But for the time being, I think I did the math on a time calculator thing here pretty recently, and I was over 4 seconds, or like almost, I think it was 5 seconds until Hayate did a little work on Marine Fortress. Like 5 seconds ahead of the collective second place. So on like the forward 8 courses. So definitely a good lead. And Comfy going into 2017 as our champ, although we don't have a real designator of champ, but I would say 27 out of the 30 records is pretty good. So I'll go with that for right now. But I will say this, I'm not complacent. I will not get comfortable while I'm an active wave race player, because we have Hayate, who's a world-class player, not just of wave race, but he's also the top Kirby 64 player. He is the top Star Fox 64 player. He's the top 1080 snowboarding and 1080 avalanche player. He is a multi-game threat, and he likes wave race. I need to watch out for him. And Ilu obviously has proven that he can produce a time that I can't touch. So what's to stop him from doing it on other levels? That's how I think. So I can't get comfortable. I need to stay in this. There are 30 records in the game. Aggressive tuna. And I hold 27 of them. And I'm counting both time trial and RTA when I say 30. There are 24 time trial records. And I have 21 of those, and then I have all 6 RTA records right now. So there you have our top 10 list. Again, we have at the honorable mention positions, we have Quick Person, Stone Cold Hard, and the Androgyne. I'm not going to end with Drake Lake. Yeah, we'll do this music for the end. So, game losing a couple of spots here. Andy Panther gaining a spot, going up to number 9. Jason Walls, the oldest school player on the list, just drops 1 spot in the last year, down to number 8. Ghillie guy jumping up a couple of people with his Ghillie guides. I'm doing the air quotes a lot. Yeah, I know. We've got Admiral Smith also holding on to his spot for years here. He's number 6. Then Lockwood busting into the top 5. Well, staying in the top 5 here as he belongs there. Analogism, the wave scientist at number 4. And then our top 3 so far untouchable. Ilu Dude losing his spot to Hayate's recent efforts. And then we've got myself here, Shibbypod, still the champ for the time being, but we will see, because we've got some new talent out there, and you guys are on your way up. So I'll try to stop you from taking me over by just continuing to grind out these levels as low as I can get them. But anyway, that is our new and current Shibby rankings, or the Shibby list, whatever you want to call it. And that'll hold until probably about June. I might do another update in June or July, kind of for the second half of the year. Unless there's a ton of activity between now and then, which I don't imagine there's going to be like a huge breakout of players wanting to join up and get on this list or anything. But if you are interested, here's the this hand. Here's the link up there. speedrun.com/WR64. We've got our forum. This stuff will be posted on it. There's tons of good resources on that. So join up. Get a capture card, record your times, prove them. You gotta prove your times. If it didn't get recorded, it didn't happen. That's not the official rule, but pretty much I think the interpretation of the official rule right now, and there is not anything concrete, but if you have a benchmark time, sorry for that. Anyway, if you have a benchmark time, or a top time anyway, you should be able to prove it. That's all. That's all. But a video would help. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Follow my channel for much more Wave Race content in the future. I like doing the little specials like this. I don't take donations. I don't take subscribers. You just watch me if you want to. And we can chat, and maybe you can play Wave Race. There you go. Alright, you guys. Peace out. Thanks again.